Hey guys, this will be chapter 16, number 9 question. All right, so using information below presented in Southwestern Mutual Bank's balance sheet to answer the following questions. All right, so remember this balance sheet is something you will be learning again in your accounting class. If you already took it, good for you. So this is review for you. So the reason why it's called balance sheet because it's always balanced. So if you look at this table here, there are two columns. First column is your asset. Second column is your liability plus equity. So in accounting, the very first equation we'll be learning is the asset equal to liability plus equity. So everything under asset, if you add it together, will be equal to everything under liability and plus equity. Okay, so your left side is equal to the right side. That's why it's called balance sheet. It's always balanced. All right, so reserve in a bank, reserve there are your cash. So how much cash the bank has that's currently in the banking system is called reserve. And then loans, they're the money we lend out. And the reason why the loan is an asset, because for loans, we can always sell them. So the banks can sell the loan to some other people and they will be getting paid instead of the bank over here. And then security, they're the investment banks make themselves. So such as, buying government bond, buying treasury bond, those are all securities. And then under liability and equity, the first one's a deposit. So whenever people depositing money in the bank, that's a deposit, that's a liability, because that is not the bank's money, that is somebody else's money. And then debt is the money the banks borrow. And last one, capital, this is the owner's investment into the banking system, the bank's owner. So suppose the owner of the bank borrow $100 to supplement the existing reserve. This will increase the reserve account. So borrow $100 into the reserve. So this reserve account will be increased by 100. And then this will also increase. So remember, this is always balanced. So if your asset reserve increased by 100, that means somewhere on the right hand side will be also increased by 100. Now, wouldn't be deposit because nobody deposited the money into the bank. It's not capital because this is not the owner's own money. This is the money we borrow. That's a debt. Okay, so this will increase our debt account as well. Now, this will also change our leverage ratio. So before our leverage ratio, now for leverage ratio, this is your asset divided by equity. So take your total asset divided by equity. That's your leverage ratio. So for our question here, our total asset is going to be 200 reserve plus 800 loan plus 1,000. That's a $2,000 total asset, and then currently our debt is 250. So 2,000 over 250, you have a reserve. You have a leverage ratio of 8. So initially it was 8. Wait, did I do something wrong? It's not 8. Okay, let me see. Oh, it's 150, not 250. Looking at the capital, not reserve, not debt. So 150. So yeah, I wrote it here. How did I get it wrong? Stupid. All right, so asset divided by equity, not asset divided by debt. Okay, so there will be 2,000 divided by 150. So 2,000 divided by 150. So the answer should be 13.33333. All right, so the first one is 13.333. And then once you increase this by $100, so what that would do, your asset will increase by 100. So this would be 300 now. So 300 plus 200 plus 1,000, that will be 2,100. And then your equity is the same because the owner didn't put the money in there. Is the borrow money. So this will be 2,100, your new asset, divided by 150. So 2,100 divided by 150. Answer is 14. Okay, so 14. All right, next, check all the applies. Which of following is true for capital requirement? So for capital requirement is that for our Federal Reserve, we force each bank to have certain amount of capital, certain amount of owner's equity in the bank. Because whenever the bank is losing money, this is what the process looks like. Whenever the bank is losing money, they will lose they will lose capital first. So whatever the money lose, they will lose capital first. And next level, they'll lose debt. And then the very last one, they will lose deposit. So we want the banks to have sufficient amount of capital. So if the bank is losing money, they wouldn't lose the debt money or deposit money. So this money are perfectly secure, but the capital is up for loss. So there should be enough capital reserve in the bank to absorb any potential losses in the banking system. All right, so first, the intended goal is to protect the interests of those who hold equity in the bank. This is false, because the goal is not to protect the owner of the bank. The goal is to protect everybody else in the bank. So your depositors, the people who are lending money to the bank, that one is false. Second, it set a minimum leverage ratio for all banks. This is also false. We don't set a minimum leverage ratio for all banks. So this will depends on each bank's asset. That for some banks, they have more secure asset, then we let them take on a more leverage ratio. But for some banks, they have less secure asset, they have a lower leverage ratio because it's individual banks. And last one is the intended goal is to protect the interest of depositors. This won't be true because again, depositors want to make sure there are enough capital to absorb any losses, so depositor will lose money. Okay, all right, so let's scrutiny now. All right, I got all three right. Okay, so guys, that's how to do number 9 in your chapter 16 homeworks. All right, good luck. Bye-bye.